So this recording is intended to help you understand TOK Essay Title 5, To What Extent Do You Agree with the Claim All Models Are Wrong, but Some Are Useful, attributed to George Box. So we're going to be discussing this with reference to mathematics and one other area of knowledge. The first thing to consider then is that we are looking at the area of knowledge of mathematics and one other, so that could be human sciences, natural sciences, art, or history. The first thing that comes to mind in terms of concepts for me when we're thinking about models is explanation and interpretation. Those are two key words. Models help us to explain the world, particularly in the natural sciences, but of course in mathematics as well in human sciences. So those are the natural areas for us to go, something like economic models, for example. And then we can think about interpretation. Of course, models present for us imperfect interpretation of the world, which is what's implied by the question. Then we can also consider the idea of truth. The concept of truth might be helpful to help you to unpack the question a little further, to think about what's meant by the truth in these particular areas of knowledge. Moving on then to unpacking the question itself a little more. In what ways might models be wrong? Are they oversimplified? Are they inaccurate? Are they outdated when new knowledge is developed? And how might you think about those questions in light of different areas of knowledge? Then moves us on to think about how can a model be useful if it's wrong? Is there perhaps a trade-off between utility and accuracy when developing a model? So, for example, models are often developed to be used in day-to-day life and to be applied, and in some such cases they have to be a simplification, and therefore there is some loss of accuracy. Finally, we can think about how are there models that are more accurate but less useful, and is utility the main object of developing knowledge? As implied within all of this is this idea of our moving forward with our understanding and gaining further knowledge of the world. I would say very briefly that there's no requirement for you to consider the person who this quote is attributed to. Knowing a little bit more about George Box isn't going to help you to answer this question. So finally, just to thank all the staff at BIST and Mr. Luke Smith in particular for all his help and input on this question.